Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's my Flame, obviously. So a little bit different today. I decided to basically rank all of my ex-teammates in Call of Duty, all the ones that I competed with, more long-term than short-term, and just give you an honest rating of them and ranking of what I would rate them as players. Now, 90% I get along with, and I'll be bluntly honest. Now, this is not me saying I'm better than them or worse than them or whatever. This is just me ranking them off. You know, I've played competitive COD for 11 years, so I know how to play the game. I might have times where I wasn't performing as good, but I know how to play the game, what it takes to win, so I'm going to look at it from that angle and obviously give you my honest opinion on that. So if you boys are watching, sorry, or you're welcome, I don't know. But it's for the banter, really, and I just want to give my opinion on my team as I'm retired and stuff, so be interesting, so let's get straight into it. Alright, so, first person, Streak. Streak's an interesting one because we got along in Modern Warfare 2 and at the start of Modern Warfare 3. We were sound, but it was very up and down. He's very inconsistent, was the problem with Streak. He could have been better. He wasn't a bad player as such. He just didn't really... He wasn't consistent enough, and he didn't really listen that often. But overall, he wasn't the worst player, honestly. He just needed to, you know, have that consistency which he didn't have. So for that reason, I'm going to put him in good when they pop off, because he had potential to be good, but it was more just the inconsistency that let him down. My boy up next, Big Naff. I'm going to have to put him in Unreal purely for, like, me and Naff have known each other since 2021, I think, when Vanguard came out, and he was a menace then. He was just one of them guys that took control of the map and also had a good brain on him. The only thing is with Naff, and he'll tell you himself, is he does have a tendency to go and kill whore sometimes, and it, you know, sometimes it's not bad, but there's a lot of times where it punishes the team, obviously, as you're aware. And yeah, his consistency to not show up to practice or want to go out partying, yeah. But ability wise, yeah, I'd put him in Unreal. He's not quite the god tier. I feel like I said, the fact he sometimes didn't rotate, sometimes went for the kills more, really put him down a bit. But his overall ability, the guy's a menace. His first LAN event, the guy had a fucking insane, like, KD, bro. Like, guy's a menace, one of my good pals as well, and a very good player overall. So I put Naff in Unreal. All right, next we've got my other teammate from the Katana LAN, Celix. Now we're not on good terms. We haven't been for a good while. But again, I'm going to be honest about it. Not the worst player by far that I've ever played with, but not the greatest. We went into that LAN, he played pretty average at the start in the first series, and then the second series against Team UK, who got top 6. Us three were playing really well, and he dropped 8 and 25, 8 and 26, and just couldn't step it up, you know, and then played a little bit better the next day, but overall wasn't a consistently good player, was definitely lower than the other three, but not the worst. Again, had his moments, but in my opinion, I'm gonna put him in needs practice, because again, he wasn't the greatest at S&D, especially with making plays, and he was very impatient. He was very fast paced on S&D without thinking, and again, just didn't have that slam power consistently. But not a bad player overall. I wouldn't say he was a bad player as such. I just think compared to some of the players I've played with and against, he's just not, you know, he's not up there. Up next is Silent. Now this is Dan Silent, and I teamed with him back in Advanced Warfare. I don't know how to sum it up. He was half okay in Advanced Warfare. Block Ops 3 came out, he was getting pissed. I'm gonna be honest. I'm still pals with him to a degree, but I'm sorry. He got outslayed every time he played, apart from the odd game, and he didn't rotate, and he also just made a lot of mistakes, and he wasn't there, I'm afraid. And Dan, love you, but yeah, I think join the retirement home. Stay in the retirement home. Quinn's from my last event in January, and he's not a bad player. I'm not going to sit there and shit talk anyone and be honest. Like, Quinn's not a bad dude. He's not a bad player. He got a bit of an ego after the event, is what it is, from players do. He's only 18, he's a young kid, but I'd say the biggest thing is with Quinn, his S&D was so weak compared to everything else. Like, his shot wasn't bad in hardpoint and whatever, but his S&D was so off. You know, the amount of 1v2s he left us in because he didn't play patient, or he chased the kill, or he just overchowed, and it was just not necessary. And you know, for that, again, I'm gonna put him in good when they pop off, because he was good enough to be half decent, but he just made so many little mistakes. Again, it's down to inexperience. The guy's only 18, and that's just, it's going to happen. I think a few more years he could be a demon if he keeps playing, honestly, but I think it's gonna have to progress, you know, to get there. Stairs. So Stairs was my original Advanced Warfare teammate. And I still talk to him today. He's nowhere near as good as he was. He wasn't bad, definitely not the greatest by all means, but he was only 14 when I teamed with him, so can't really go too in depth. But from what I remember, he was decent, but he wasn't great. And he made a few mistakes here and there, and he obviously was a young kid, so again, I'll put him in needs practice, because I've seen him play now as well. He still plays now. He's just come back and start playing, and he has a little bit of potential there, and again, it just needs that time, you know, coming back into it after nearly 10 years. It's going to be hard, so again, I'll put him in needs practice. I feel like he definitely has some kind of potential there, but in the end of the day, again, like I said, and anyone that knows anything about COD, it's about time. It's game time and practice, and years of experience is what makes you the better player. Oh, Johnny Caps. Johnny Caps. As a guy, loved him. Unreal. Funny as fuck. As a player, honestly, might be one of the worst players I've ever played with. Not because he was, like, an asshole, just he went 5 and 30 on main stage back-to-back maps, so, like, got 16 kills, lost us the hard point on other games. Yeah, he just not a good player overall. And again, really respect him as a guy. Loved hanging around with him, but as a COD player, just not great. And again, just being bluntly honest, you know, Black Ops 3 went to land with him, and it was rough, bro. It was real tough. But love you, Caps. Sorry, man. Big Greasy, Cold War. Me and Greasy ran it for a good while. And honest, man, in Cold War, he wasn't great in Vanguard, and he wasn't great in Modern Warfare 2. I'll be honest, he was kind of bad. But when he was playing every day and playing in Cold War, the guy was top level. Not top level, but you know what I mean. He was consistently good, and he was always doing well. But in the faster games, he fell off quite a lot. So honestly, I'm gonna put him in the good when they pop off. Because again, it's one of them where you can't just say someone's unreal or God mode when they're good in one game. Like Naf, for example, was unreal. He was unreal in Vanguard. He was unreal in Modern Warfare 3. He was really good at the start of Black Ops 6. You know, so there's 3 games there that you can go off where he was really good. And he was good in all the games before that as well. But with Greasy, it was like that one game isn't enough to put him in consistent when he had 2 games that he fell off. But overall, his slaying in Cold War, phenomenal. Guy jumped 50, 60 kills every map. And he was just a very solid player, and one of my close pals who I really like playing with. So yeah, but shout out to Z, very good player. Brody, can't remember what his gamer tag was, but Brody was my first LAN teammate with Tank and Excite, and he was 15. Again, average at best. Can't really give you a great rating on him, because again, we were all pretty average at the event. He wasn't really great, but he got a really big ego after the event, like massive ego. Average, did his job, never really popped off too bad, but you know, again, I guess put him here, needs practice, because we all did. I only ever saw him that once. Calvinator, the duo of Greasy and Z in Cold War. Again, another one. I never saw him after Cold War, but I'll be honest, in Cold War, consistent. He consistently dropped high kills, high hill time, big rotations, but he had a bit of an attitude problem, can't lie. But as a COD player in general, like his ability, definitely consistent. And yeah, one of the better players, honestly. Webby. So Webby is, again, from my last event. Webby's a hard one, because gun skill, very good. Like, very good. Speed, very good. Brain, not good at all. But again, I like the kid. Bit of a loud, boyish dude, like, you know what I mean? Boisterous dude, whatever. He's a dude, whatever. But again, his S&D, that's why it was so annoying, because he'd play great in the hard point, apart from he'd flip us out a lot or he'd push too many kills. But his overall kill's very good, and you know how we played the map was pretty decent overall, apart from the odd rotations. But his S&D was so weak. Same with Quinn, so we had 2 people that didn't know how to play S&D. And where, yes, he could do well by getting kills, but he couldn't use his brain, you know? The pair of them would just run off and stay away from each other, and we'd lose the round. And, you know, it made it rough. So, with Webby, I will put him inconsistent, because his ability to slay is always there, but his ability to think, and to me, what makes a great player isn't the kills. It's being able to do your job consistently and do everything at once. Tick, 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 tick. Not just tick, miss, miss, tick, miss. So, for that, and again, didn't mind him. I'd go crack with him, personally. I'd put him on consistent. Very good player. Alright. Controversial one, in my opinion. Rio. Weird one. Got along with him, but he had severe ADHD, and he was like a loose cannon. You couldn't calm him down. He'd lose his shit if he was playing bad. You'd never hear the end of it. If you're playing good, you'd never hear the end of it. If you won and he played bad, you'd never hear the end of it. So he's honestly probably the worst person I've ever teamed with vocally. But again, he was like Webby. His slaying, really good. Probably better than Webby. I don't know. It's probably close, similar. Same as Covenanter. But as a teammate, his comms, his passion, his everything, atrocious. So honestly, I'm going to put him in needs practice because, as I said, you can't be the best slayer in the world and be the worst teammate. I'm sorry, you can't, because then you're not a good player. And that's just how I look at it. So for that, needs practice. Gurn. Now, Gurn was my teammate in Infinite Warfare when we went to Insomnia 59, I-59, me, Tank, Gurn, and Pfizer, who's also on this list, Jaden. And Gurn, he wasn't a great slayer in hardpoint, average S&D player, but Uplink, the guy dropped 40 kills every map. I don't know why. Me and Dean talk about this to this day. The guy's crazy. But again, not a great player, but just clutched up when he needed to and was just he did his job every time. So Gurn, again, good when they pop off. Not consistent like ways, like consistent, but when he popped off, like it mattered and it meant something, you know. So for that, I'm gonna put Gurn in good when they pop off. Excite. So again, for my first ever event, Liam Excite. In my opinion, retired too early, quit too early. He was only 16 at the time when we went to that event that he played a few years later and quit, from what I remember. Honest, one of the best lads I've ever met in my life at the time. Don't speak to him too often anymore, but really cool lad, really genuine chill dude. Again, good when they pop off. Wasn't at that level, but at the same time needed practice because we weren't experienced enough. So again, it's gonna have to be the same as Brody, because we were at that level at the time, and I never saw him after that. But like he had the passion, he wanted to learn, wanted to get better. So that's, you know, a big reason why I preferred it, you know. Pfizer, so Jaden's the other, obviously with Gurns. Again, I'd probably put Jaden in the good when they pop off, because he had his moments. He was very in the middle. He did cost us a little bit at LAN with the S&D, but overall, not a bad player at all. Checked his corners most times. Like when it was on the S&D, it was just that. I'm bringing it up because that's why he cost us. He didn't check a simple corner. But no, he did his job. He slayed when he needed to, and you know he was always rotating and he was always picking up trades. So again, but he just didn't have that experience and the knowledge to be able to do stuff. But when I look at the people in need practice, I wouldn't put him there. I'd put him just above it, and I'd put him with Gurn. They were pretty similar. So for that, good when they pop off. Alright, the big boy, my duo, obviously 11 years, Tank. And everyone's going to think, you're going to put him in God. Right, here's what I think. After everything I've told you about the teammates and how you play and how your mindset is and how you are as a teammate, it affects how you are as a player. Dean is not God, no. I would genuinely put him in Unreal. Reason for that, I'm going to put Naf there, he's better than Naf. And when I say that, Naf is like a different kind of Unreal. Dean is just not maybe not nowadays, and for those that haven't never played him or saw him back in the day, Ghost, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, IW, and even World War 2, guy was fucking gross, man. You know, like guy carried my ass through so many things, like, you know, just one of the best players I've ever had the privilege to play with. And you know, yeah, it wasn't like that as much in his later days of the career or whatever, but my guy was fucking naughty back in the day, and most players who have played him will say the same thing. But it was just how consistent Dean was. He could slay. His comms were like really, really good. He was also able to play the objective very well. He was selfless in that matter. The only downside is he wasn't great at taking criticism in the early days. He's still not the greatest now, but he's got a lot better. But towards the end of his career, he got a bit like... the games got quicker, and as a stiff AR from our era especially, he didn't pick it up as quick, and I think that was where he really started to struggle. But again, he still sort of pulled it back and showed he could do it last year. But again, like, I don't know, man. He's one of them where I feel like if in Black Ops 3 IW, if he'd have had more time, because he was working, you remember when we were playing both our careers, whatever you want to call them, for 10 years nearly, no, let's say 9 years, we played from 10 o'clock at night till midnight or 1 a.m. That was our schedule. So we didn't get that much practice, and he was fucking phenomenal. So I've said this for years, I think if he had more time back then, I do think he could have got somewhere with it massively, like pro level, honestly, because he was so fucking good, man. He was so good. It's insane. I just think that my eyes are burning. I just think that, again, we were unlucky in a lot of situations, but I think the biggest thing is obviously the time. And yeah, again, as a teammate, one of the best teammates you can have. Honestly, one of the best teammates you can have. So, unreal. And note to, as a guy, liked Carl, went to World War II, the World War II land with him. And, yeah, good lad. Scottish lad in the army. But he was decent, went away for 3 days, came back, dog shit. I don't know what happened. We couldn't win a hard point. For that, I am going to put him in retire because he just wasn't good at the end. Like, you know, I only had that small period. But as a guy, really sound geezer, but just, yeah, stay in the retirement home, join us. Cappy, one of my other duos, teamed with him last year and this year. Very, very good player. Very good player. Decent brain, good pacing, you know. So again, I'll put him up with the boys up in Unreal, and obviously that was our roster as well. Me, Tank, Nath, and Cappy. In my opinion, one of the strongest rosters we had. None of us liked Block 6. We had a good start at the season. We had pro points going in. We had a very good start. The game fucking killed it. The maps were shit, the spawns were shit, and it went downhill. But seeing him play with some of the best, beat the best, you know, he's still only in his early 20s, same with Nath. Them two, absolutely gross. And, you know, me and Cappy really did work well together when we were playing and we were trading around the hill, and it was really fun to play with them. We had our disagreements sometimes, but it's competition. We all do. But honestly, as an overall player, again, very, very good player. And really chill to play with him as well. So, for that, Cappy goes up in Unreal with the two boys. Razza, it was me, me, Anotu, Tank, and Razza. World War II. Always got along with Ryan. He got a bit of an ego after the event because he played decent, I suppose. But I'm not going to use that against him. At the end of the day, I liked him. I thought he was a good teammate. I thought he played well and he was pretty consistent. So, I'd probably put Razza like in between here. Because he was good. But he wasn't the greatest. But he wasn't, like, I'm trying to think, do I put him with Callum Webby or do I keep him with Streak in that? And honestly, I'd probably put him here. I'd probably go with consistent. Because again, he did his job. His comms were good. He did his job. He was always being a good teammate to a degree. And he did his job again. Like, slaying, yes. Objective, yes. Comms, yes. Everything was good. But he wasn't the greatest, as in, like, when I think of Tank, for example, or Nath or Cappy, like, he wasn't the standout, unreal player that did everything, you know? He was just good and he was consistent. So, I will put him in consistent, but again, very talented player. So, I'd give him that. And finally, last on the list is Prit. Now, Prit's a weird one because he costed us at the event, at the Block 3 event in the last game, by being stupid. And again, I said this for ages, his brain was awful. But his ability to slay, similar to Rio. He wasn't as good at slaying as Rio, but he was decent enough. But I'm going to put him in needs practice. I wouldn't say retire, but he just... I don't know, man. He's one of them people where it's like... He could have been a lot better if he didn't do dumb shit, which is a lot like what Stairs does. And also with Rio. And it's like that entire group, basically, you know. But honestly, that's my list. I think overall the best teammate I've ever had has to be Tank. And I know people are going to say, oh, that's obvious, you see. People forget, right? I played with so many players, and anyone that knows Dean will tell you how good he is and how good he was. And it's like, especially modern days, like not that many newer kids know who we are, and like, especially Dean, because obviously I'm more out there on social media, YouTube and stuff, he's not. if you go back and ask people what he was like in his like prime day, heyday, whatever, like the guy was fucking honest to God. And like I said, in my opinion, what makes a good player is communication and reliability and teamwork, and Dean, he takes all them. You know, he really does take all them. And he has to be there. He has to be number one in my books. I mean, you know, Nathan Cappy definitely up there as well. And again, this is no disrespect to any of the players. Like, in the end of the day, right, I might have had beef with some of them, but I respect everyone I play with or against. The players at the end of the day, like myself. Dean should do one, Tank should do one, and so we get his version of it. See where he puts people, because that would be interesting to see where he rates people. Because at the end of the day, right, if anyone gets offended by this, at the end of the day, you know, we teamed, we played COD, and it's just how I thought everyone went. But I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. And much love to everyone in the list. And it was a little bit of fun. But thanks so much for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next one, and I'll see you then.